Hello, viewers. I just want to do a video in and to give my opinion in regards to what I think it's happening in the world in regards to the black situation, and what's and why people are wondering what's really happening with the black or the black, or why is Africa like this. I would like to make my viewers aware the fundamental problem and where it all started. I would like to give my viewers a bit of insight to what I think happened or where it all went wrong from. You must understand that reasons why things are the way they are, it starts from the fundamental fact that Africa never really projected itself as a primary civilization. I mean, sub-Saharan Africa never projected itself as a primary civilization. Instead, Africa has always been a subculture of one civilization or the other, depending on how far reaching that culture spread. Take for instance, I will start off by um, talking about the Arab civilization. Africa, for many, many centuries, has been a subculture of the Arab, in the sense that they draw the inspiration from the Arab world in terms of the behavior, the music, the culture, the style of government, the religion. In fact, the Arab culture was actually more influential in Africa than even the European at the moment, the European. Because if you look at the whole of Africa, all through East Africa, in fact, even the Swahili language is an Arabanized African language to show how deeply that influence. So when you're a subculture, there are certain character patterns of those people that linger forever. One of which is you look up to that primary civilization for validation. You also don't think you have the audacity to define a morality that suits you. Take for instance, if you're a subculture, you don't always you always attached to the primary culture, in the sense that you don't think that we can define what suits us. Another character trait is also that if you find it hard to appreciate yourself as a people when you're a subculture. In fact, you fight each other to perpetuate the ideals of that primary culture. Take, for instance, the jihads that happened in northern Nigeria up onto West Africa. Those jihads, with all the killings and all the conquering, were all done to perpetuate Islam, which in itself which in itself it's a bit it's an out it's an aspect of Arab civilization, Islam in itself. So when you have that situation, there is this preponderance of self unappreciation, not necessarily self hate, but self unappreciation, because amongst each other, what you're finding, you're finding you're trying to find yourselves in the template of that primary civilization you look up to, and that is the black man's, that is Africa's. Africa has been for a long time, you know. Yeah. Now look at it from the other side of the primary culture and how they see you. When you're a primary culture and when you're a subculture, you occupy a certain vacuum that gives a primary culture dominance. Come rain, come shine. It's dominance. They see themselves as having a right of way over you, as much as you try, as much as you fight. You know, they always think that they always say you with this a bit of condescending. It's always a condescending relationship the way you're treated, and they would never want you to be the face of their civilization. So that is the problem with Africa. Africa never projected itself as a primary civilization. In most of Africa, it's just a few. It's only a few, they live the traces of our primary civilization can be found in those areas that never really saw that, those areas that were those small villages or cultures is where you might still find the African civilization in its purest form. But the majority of Africa in some way had evolved, embraced something that was alien to them, which had made them a subculture within a particular primary within a particular power matrix. So when you're trying to understand the black situation, you must understand that is why the black man is treated, because anyone who belongs to that primary culture will find it hard to see the black person as a complete person. If that person is within that power dynamic. Take for instance, if you in the eyes of an Arab person, the African Arab is only an inferior version of himself, and that's how he's going to treat you. He'll always feel he'll always think it is his place to prescribe your destiny. So that is what I think I want us as a people to understand what this fundamental problem is. Africa has never really projected itself as a primary civilization. Instead, we condemned our primary civilizations. We allowed foreign civilizations to encroach and subjugate our own. But what you must understand is it is that which we subjugated is what is truly ourselves. Because it's only what is of you that can work for you. So if you're a subculture of the Arabs, the Arab prescription or the Arab ideals would never work for you. It would never ever work for you. Same as the religious, the political system, they would never really work for you the way, because these cultures were drawn in with the understanding of only the primary civilization, the Arabs, which you're not. Then if you also look at it from also the European, when the Europeans came also to Africa, they just did as the Arabs did. They were able to prescribe their ideals on us, their civilization. And that was what happened. We eventually subjugated our own primary civilization and embraced the European one. And that's what's going on now in America. That is what's going on now around the world. Because when a white man or another man sees an African person, we only project ourselves as an inferior version of them. And how would they respect you? They can't find you attractive. You're better off finding yourself, your indigenous civilization, and projecting it to the maximum. That is only when you actually get respect. Because now you're standing as a full human being, as a person of his own, as a people that have defined their own morality and have found their own freedom and are content with what they are as a people. So please, my dear viewers, let us understand that the problem with the black man or the African man is that his mind has always been away from himself and not is himself. Let us untangle this age-long ideals of other civilizations. Let's start a new beginning. Let us find our own self amongst ourselves. Appreciate ourselves and not measure ourselves using the standards of alien civilizations and alien primary civilizations. Because the more we do that, we keep ourselves on a journey aspiring to be this particular thing that we're not. So please, I'll appreciate if anyone who's inspired by this video I have just made should please just share and see how many people we should inspire. Thank you.